which is great. I'm just wanting to make sure about that, and then we can get going on it. Let's see. Yes. Wait. There's some people asking for the link. I'm going to ask Ronwin to help us just to post the link, the go live link in the Facebook timeline so that we can get going on it. Right. What was that? Great. All right. Let's see. Right. Right. If you are joining us for the first time this afternoon, this is our second day of conversation. Conversation is just exactly what I said. The conversation about real everyday stories, about everyday life. If you listened yesterday, I spoke to my cousin Leroy. I have to speak Afrikaans yesterday. I think it's just convenient. I grew up English, but it was just convenient speaking Afrikaans because we always just spoke Afrikaans. Anyway, that was a good conversation. Thanks to everybody who tuned in and listened. But this afternoon, you probably saw this ad. The idea is to speak to Shakira and Zaid Hendricks regarding their son Yahya. We're going to talk. Hello, Shakira. Sorry, man.
Hey.
Good afternoon to everybody who's joined us on Facebook, Facebook Live. I'll be chatting to Shakira and Zaid, more Shakira than Zaid, about their great son Yahya. As you've seen in the ad, we entitled it Autism. Let's talk about it. Simply because I think there's not been enough conversation around autism and what autism is. I remember growing up in Shoulder, and I am convinced there were some kids who were autistic at the time. But because we didn't understand it, because I didn't understand it, and like we chatted offline, Shakira, because of the ignorance around autism, I think we didn't almost know how to describe this, and we didn't know how to treat is not the right word, but how to relate to people and children in particular.
Yes.
And so this afternoon, your son is special, and we'd like to talk about that in some detail. But before we get into the detail about Yahya, his diagnosis, and all the other things, tell me a bit about your family. Tell me, you're married. You've got more than one kid. That I know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about.
Yeah. So Zayn, we've been married now 16 years, and we've got 3 kids. My daughter is the eldest, and she's 13. My middle son is 11, and then Yahya is turning 10 in November, 9 at the moment. So Yahya and Zach are literally 18 months apart. They're not even 2 years apart. So, but you can see, obviously, developmental-wise, there's a huge difference in height, in cognitive, brain, everything.
Yeah. Alrighty. But you guys live in the northern areas. Where do you reside? What do you do for a living? How do you make money? Working, business?
We in North End, which is North End is, and then Zaid has a reupholstery business. He started when he was very young, probably about 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And that's been sustaining us, and it's been good, obviously, now until lockdown hit and we can't trade. But hopefully now with level 4, things will, hopefully, we're crossing our fingers that it will change. So yeah, it's just been a bit tough now since the lockdown, because obviously I I could work, but we sort of looked at it from a perspective of, if I go and work, we'd need a nanny to help in the house. We'd need someone to do the admin work for the business. And, you know, I've got a HR diploma. So, you know, it's not an issue of not being able to go work. It's just when Yahya comes home from school, who's going to look after him? So we'd have to pay extra money for aftercare or for a nanny to watch him in the afternoons, because it's like you have to watch him 24 hours. You can't take your eyes off of him.
Yeah. Talking of him, tell us a bit about his diagnosis. What is the description given to you by specialists?
Well, basically, Yahya he's, you know, the terms high functioning and low functioning, they don't really want to use, because a lot of autistic people feel like we use those terms to say how difficult it is for us, like as parents or as caregivers, how difficult the autism is. But it's not, there's no level, it's spectrum. So some are at sort of, you know, the lower part of the spectrum, some are at the higher where they can speak, and then in Yahya's instance where he's nonverbal. So it's hard initially to even get a diagnosis, because I mean, I knew, moms know, like something's not right. It's you know, there's not milestones that's being hit that your other kids, and obviously I've got 2 older kids, so I watched them going through the whole process. And then with him, he was a relatively easy child, relatively easy toddler. He generally, if he was tired, he'd go get on the bed and take a nap. There wasn't any issues. But we did notice things like if he was sleeping, we could vacuum and it wouldn't wake him up. And initially we thought because of the delayed speech, he might be deaf. But he would hear other things. If we'd call his name, he'd look, and, you know, so we started off, and, you know, parents and everybody, hey, Nunu, do you want to come say hi quickly? Say hi, look. Parent, you know, you kind of ask these things, and then they like, no, boys develop slower than girls, and you know, it's not something that it's looked at. Like I said earlier, in our communities, it's not something that you can always know what's happening. So lots of people, lots of parents, lots of everybody telling us not to worry and we shouldn't look into it like that. And then around about 2.5, when he wasn't speaking, I said to Zaid, no, man, something's really not. Like, he wasn't saying mama, he wasn't mimicking, he wasn't sort of repeating what I was saying. So I said, no, let's take him to the pediatrician and let's see, let's take it from there. And took him to the ped, and he sort of assessed him, and there's certain they call it red flags that you look for. It's like a list that they kind of follow, and they're like, okay, so he hasn't spoken, and he took a bit long to walk, or he took a bit long to stand on his own or sit up straight on his own. So initially, first thing was the pediatrician sent us to an audiologist to figure out whether he could hear or not. And from there, you go see sort of 3 different specialists in order. Hey, Babas. You go and see three different specialists in order to get a diagnosis. And he only got his diagnosis after he was 3. He was almost 4. Because they can't they can't make a quick decision, because they don't want to misdiagnose as well, which is also something that tends to happen if you don't follow the proper route.
Yeah, just a question. And I can imagine the first 3 years then probably, let's be honest, frustrating, because you go from one specialist to another. They can't give you clarity. You hope that tomorrow when you see them again, they'll know what they're talking about. You can almost swear at the doctor and ask him, do you know what you are talking about? You know, that must be so frustrating. Tell us about those early 3 years. How did you guys cope? How did you handle the stress?
You know, it's like people always say you're not given more than you can handle, and I get that. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents tend to be guilt tripped into not talking about the challenges that we face, because it's
Right.
like,
Right.
it's their blessing, or hey baby, sorry, he's gonna come in and out here. We're trying to keep him
No, that's
one
fine.
side, but it's not gonna
I
happen.
was no, no,
He's
no,
like
no. I was
attached to
about to
me.
tell you this is about him. So no, this is about him. So if he wants to shine, he can shine. We're gonna allow that today. So that's fine.
Yeah,
Leave
no,
it.
so
Um.
we
So
went
it's
and we saw
very
the
frustrating.
pediatrician, and then like from there you see a speech therapist, you see an occupational therapist, and you see a psychologist.
Yeah.
And the challenge with
Right.
that is it's a very it's very expensive to do those things, because all the specialists
I can
charge you
imagine.
an initial
Wow.
fee. So I mean, back then that
Yes.
was like,
Yes.
geez, what's call it 7 8 years ago. It was about 1 8 per specialist
Yeah.
to get a diagnosis, and then
Sure.
they sort of all liaise with one another, and they come up with a diagnosis. So when he was diagnosed at about
Right.
3 3.5, we Zaid and I, we like went through the
Yeah.
process, and we're like, yeah, okay, but you kind of try and keep positive. Not that it's a negative thing, but you like sort of you say,
Yes.
ah, no, we'll see what happens. And then when we got the actual
Right.
diagnosis, it was very hard for Zaid and I. We sort of, I think more so for Zaid than
Wow.
myself, because I was like, okay, could be, couldn't be. If it is, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? You just need to sort of carry
Right.
on. So
Right.
there is that grieving period after you get the actual diagnosis, where the doctor says to us, no, it looks like it is autism, and it's more on the lower side
Yeah.
of the spectrum. And he is
Wow.
nonverbal, so he might speak, he might not speak. And initially, because of his emotional level, he was sort of okay where
Mm,
new people were concerned, but we never kept him in the
right.
house. We used to take him out, and if he had a meltdown,
Yeah.
well, then
Yeah.
we'd come home.
Yeah.
So but we
Yeah.
never kept him away
Wait. How
from going out, or kept him away from
Right.
going to new places. So his doctor's a bit
Right.
confused, because he says, he's sort of happy, and you
Mm,
can see him. He laughs, he smiles, he runs around, and he
right.
said it was sort of on the medium side to, not
Okay.
as severe. But then now recently, last year, hey baby, last
Yeah.
we changed the diagnosis to severe, because he's
Shakira?
still not speaking, and he said he might do like maybe 10 words maximum.
Yeah. Yeah. Shakira, just by the way, I like the curly hair. I want my hair like his. I
Yeah.
need to it's so stunning. Just I don't want to ignore the people who are watching us on Facebook. Just some shout outs here. Kishen, Vidonia, Genevieve,
Hey
Heinz
guys.
Jen, Mark Lottering is saying much love and respect to
Hi.
you guys. My good friend Legion, Periston, who's down the road from me, Dean
Yeah.
Duplessis, um, Celestine. These are all the people listening in this afternoon. But just coming back to I want to take you back about your pregnancy with him in
Yeah.
particular. Was there anything normal, abnormal? How was that? Were there
Everything
any
was
signs of that?
normal. There was
Wow.
no extra morning sickness, or
Right.
or any difficulties. There was nothing
Right.
that sort of made us think that there could be possibly something wrong. I mean, we even went,
Yeah.
they do the scan, and then they do the prenatal scan at a certain amount of weeks.
Right.
I can't even remember what it was, where they check for Down
Mhm.
syndrome, and they check that all the bones and the spine and everything is all right.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, nobody picked up anything. We would be none the wiser. And when I went
Yeah.
back to the doctor, when we initially got the diagnosis, I mean, obviously, as a mother, you like, I must have done something wrong. I
Yes.
must have
Yeah.
eaten something I wasn't supposed to eat,
Ah.
or I took meds, or something must have caused that there's something wrong with my child.
Right.
And I mean, our
Just a
doctor explained to us it's something that happens like 2 to 3 weeks in the womb. So there's nothing
right.
really that can change it or alter it. I mean, it's part of their DNA, so it's not like it's something that you could have or couldn't do
or avoid it. Listen, the reason why I'm asking that question is because growing up, I think we were, as I said when we started out, there wasn't a lot of knowledge available about autism or any disability for that matter. I think we were told at one stage as children growing up, you'd be told things like the family is cursed, the mother did something wrong, which you question yourself about even, and all those type of reasons. But it's as I said to you earlier, I think I blame myself for being ignorant about autism, for example. I blame myself for not putting in the effort to understand what it is, because I'm sure you've had this often. You're out in a public place with your son, and it's supposed to be a normal party, a kid's party. You took the risk and you took him out with you. And here this child with a meltdown. And here you have parents looking at you, telling you, what's up with your child? Is your child naughty? I'm sure you face that a lot.
He's throwing a tantrum. Yeah, we hear that a lot. And it's the sad part that, like I said in one of my posts as well, it's not something it's not something that you sort of, if you're not in it, if you don't have to be part of it, it's not something that you would ever need to be part of or know about. But what I try and do is sort of create awareness, because it is out there. It's not something that we hide anymore, because I mean, like I mentioned earlier when we were offline, it's it was kept as a secret. It was, my child stay at home, and you don't take your child out, and you don't go shopping, and because it's like almost like a embarrassment, so to say. You know what I mean? So this is him. He constantly needs to touch me or be by me. He's like, I was hoping we'd have some alone time, but I guess not.
No, that's fine. I think this was part of the reason why, to everybody who's listening this afternoon, is part of the reason why we couldn't cement a time and say 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock we'll talk, because I think you were trying to find like a best time where for lack of a better word, and I don't mean this with any respect, that we wouldn't be interrupted. But believe me, the people who are watching and listening to us, even me, it's no interruption whatsoever. As I said earlier, it's his time. We're talking about him, and let him shine. No problem. I actually love it. And so we get to see him as well. Tell me, what is the typical day like in his life? What happens from the time? Look, in my situation, my son is just a year older than him. Zach, I can tell Zach, get up, get dressed, here's your clothes, go to school. I'm sure yours is very different. Zach feeds himself, he leaves himself. If Zach wants to eat, like he's just asked now, he'll go to the fridge and he'll take something and off we go. I'm sure yours is not that simple. Tell us about what does a typical day in his life look like?
Basically, we sort of, he sleeps with me in the bed, and Zaid's now in the lounge because he wasn't sleeping. It's something that's part of his SPD, sensory processing disorder, where their brain doesn't sort of relay the messages the way it's supposed to relay it. When tiredness is concerned, or hunger, or even smell, the normal senses. So I don't generally wake him up, because sometimes if he gets woken up, then it's a bad mood, and we know already, like the school knows. I'll come there, or I'll message Zaid's principal and be like, listen, Yahya's not having a good day, so we might only get to school at 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I need to get him up, and then obviously change him. Hey, baby. Change him, because most of the time he wets himself in the middle of the night, and then change him, and then we need to brush his teeth. I have to brush his teeth, which he hates doing, but I've tried now. The system that I've come up with is I'll brush his teeth a few times during the day, because he gives you literally 30 seconds, a minute, not even, to brush his teeth and then, you know, sort of rinse his mouth and whatever. And then we need to get dressed, and it's always a fight. It's always legs don't want to bend, or, you know, with babies, you can sort of maneuver them and put their legs in and pull up the pants and, you know, and then always just before we leave school, you go into the room and he's like in a nappy and there's no clothing on anymore. And it's like, oh, the whole thing starts all over again. You know, and then he goes to school and then he normally finishes at about 1:30-ish and then he's back home again.
Right. So in terms of routine, is there any? Can you safely say that Yahya will do this? In terms of routine, like we understand routine.
Yeah, there is, you know, with routine, there are a lot of kids that do follow a strict routine and they need that routine to be followed to the letter. With Yahya's case, and I'm no expert. I don't want to come off as an expert in any field of autism because I don't think there are any. Because at the moment now, you sort of get a diagnosis and it's not like concrete and it might change. So I'm not professing, but I always say I study my child. I don't study. I'll take references from articles and from documentaries and stuff, but I always maintain you will never learn more about autism than from your child. You won't learn as much from a book.
Correct.
And you know, I sort of the cue is it's always the same. It's always sort of, you know, where he's at and what he's feeling. You know, so it's like it's every day is different. There's no day for him where routine goes exactly the same. Now with lockdown, it got quite bad because the routine of him going to school, that was broken. So now it's like I used to get up and I mean, he moans for school every morning, like every morning he moans for school. And, you know, when we get there, he's always in a bad mood and crying. And I'm like, I tell Zaid, you know, I can't handle this. Let's just take him home. I'm just going to take him home. And then his principal's like, hey, listen, 5 minutes time, this child is fine. So just leave him. If he's going to cry, he's going to cry. And they're so capable of sorting him out. But it's like I think it's more from me personally, where I don't like him hurting anybody else because he's got a tendency, especially with the sensory processing disorder, there's like hypersensitivity and then there's hyposensitivity. So with the hypersensitivity, it's overly sensitive. So they tend to avoid any sensory stuff that come in. And with the sensory processing disorder, it's more your senses they normally relay the message to the brain and then you know how to process it. Now with SPD kids and especially on the autism spectrum,
sorry, man. I interrupted you there. Would you finish that sentence? I just wanted to give a beautiful comment from someone who's speaking to us on Facebook, but let me allow you to finish that point.
Yeah, so basically and then there's hyposensitive, which is undersensitivity, and it's kids that they look for stimulation, they look for the pressure. Now in Yahya's case, he's both. So he is both hypersensitive and he's both hyposensitive. So he will look for the pressure, he wants a hug, but it's like 3 seconds and then we're done. And that took us so long to even get that out of him because he didn't want to be touched. He didn't want to be cut. Even when he was a baby, he didn't want like the rocking and the sissing, and he'd go lay down and he'd go sleep. So we didn't have that. And then it's like with the hyposensitive, they need more stimulation. Hypersensitive, they sort of kind of shy away more from the stimulation. But he's both. So on any given day, it might be hyper, it might be hypo. We don't know.
Just a quick shout out to everybody who's joining us on Facebook Live this afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. Dr. Glynis Pieterse is with us, and she works in the Department of Education. In fact, I know at one stage she used to work at Westview, if memory serves me right. And she tells, I want to say this from her comment. She says, parents are the experts. No one knows their kids better than parents do. So, and I tend to agree because
I believe
each child
that.
is unique.
Thank you.
You can't box each child. you know what's best for your child, and you know how best to accommodate and to make things happen for that child. So thank you so much, Doc, for that comment. Now, I want to talk to you about, wait. I almost forgot. I need to talk to you about the Steri Stumpy situation. Now,
Yeah.
I've seen people cut you up and say, oh man, painful things around Steri Stumpy.
Yeah.
I'm sure Yahya has a diet of sorts, and you know what he eats and what works for him. Tell us about that diet, and tell us, how does Steri Stumpy fit into that diet?
Okay, so when Yahya was young, when he was a baby, he hated porridge. Like literally, absolutely could not stand porridge. If I came with the bowl, and I'm talking about when he was like 6 months, around about there, I'd come with the bowl blowing the porridge, and he'd gag. He'd like dry heave constantly, and I'd force it in his mouth, and I'd keep trying and keep trying. And we sort of like, okay, he's a picky eater, we just like, because we were none the wiser as well, you know what I mean? So when he started eating solids, he was sort of very very select with what they eat. They like crunchy flavor, crunchy textures, and then there's certain textures that they won't even touch. And then obviously smell, taste, because their senses are all heightened, so they smell and taste on a different level. And at that time, he was only drinking Oros, and he was sort of minimal eating. And I said to Zaid, hey, we tried Pediasure, we tried supplements, we tried vitamins, like everything we could think of. And then Zaid came up with the Steri Stumpy strawberry. And he was like, hey, let's try and get some milk into him at least. Let's try and get some calcium. Let's try and get some vitamin. Because he was basically drinking Oros, which is water and unmarked juice. And then that was it. That was the only liquid he was taking in. So we changed over to the Steri Stumpy, and it took a bit of a while, and then he took to it. And us not knowing at the time that he was autistic, so we didn't know that he would latch himself onto them as much as he did.
Sure.
And obviously the little carton was convenient, it was easy, it wasn't something that he could knock over and spill. And we started off with that, and then it just became his everything. Like he drinks it every single day, the whole day. We go through about 3 to 4 6-packs a day. It's about 15 cases a month, and not a lot of people believe us. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know what to tell you, because this is my life. This is like, I live this with my son. So I don't know. I used to argue. I mean, Arlene and everybody knows I would be like a bulldog, and I'll be like, hey, you know what? You don't know what you're talking about. And eventually I thought to myself, I'm making myself miserable, because people will only understand to their own level of perception. And for them, it's like a lot of people will say, oh, but give him the 250 ml or the 350 ml. What's it, 350 ml now? And I'm like, he knows the taste difference. We've tried decanting. Everybody tells us, oh, no, just decant and put it in the thing. And what people don't realize is pushing it into the carton every time with the syringe, you literally have to make a hole at the top. Now, Yahya is at the point where even if you mess a little bit of milkshake on the top of it, he doesn't really want to drink it. But we've gotten him to the point where it's just a mess. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. But, and he's fine with that. But it's the taste. And a lot of people don't believe it. Like I said, there is definitely, it's made from 2 different machines. And, friends of mine will always say, you can taste the difference between Coke in a can and Coke in a bottle. Us as normal people, we can taste the difference. You know what I mean? It's the same product, but it's in a different container. And we taste it, and he tastes it on a whole other level.
Very true. Shakira, so when you walk into, I can imagine one particular store probably doesn't stock enough of this product for you. Do you guys have episodes where there's shortages? Do you have an easy supply? Is it readily available? How does that look like?
The strawberry gets made in Cape Town. So at the Parmalat here by us, I don't want to mention the flavors, but I know the strawberry does not get made in PE, it gets made in Cape Town. And there's always limited stock. I mean, if you go back, all my friends know, I'm every like twice a year, once a year. I'm like, guys, please just look out for these milkshakes. We just want to know where they are. We don't want anybody buying them, because it also works on a sort of a budget, because we work for ourselves. So money comes in as we do the work. So
Right.
there's no sort of set salary per month that comes into our
Wow.
accounts. You know what I mean? So we have to
Yeah.
sort of budget per week as to
Right.
what comes in.
Okay. I
And
want.
then Zaid like
Yeah. I want.
riding around to different places.
Yeah, I want us to talk about the business and funding and that sort of thing in just a moment. But I've got a question for you from Vidonia on Facebook, and I'll read the question. It's a bit long. It says, "My question to you is: do they ever get any complaints from the neighbors regarding Yahya?" Reason for asking: when we were house hunting, we met a couple with a son being diagnosed with autism, and they have mentioned to us that they have to move from a complex to complex living because neighbors couldn't handle their son. How do you relate to neighbors around you? How's that going? Do you have
You
that
know, when it
challenge as
comes
well?
to complexes, when it comes to complexes and flats, I know parents of special needs children, they always get complaints. There is
Yeah.
a boy that lives just sort of down the road from us, and
Sure.
he is much bigger than Yahya, and he's
Hmm.
very vocal and he screams a lot. And I mean, some of the neighbors have even phoned the police, and they have to come to the house, and then the mother's out there and the father's out there like, listen guys, we're not killing our child, he's literally
Yeah.
having a meltdown
Yeah.
and there's nothing we can do. So with
Sure.
my neighbors, I mean, my neighbors are awesome. I love them.
Oh, that's
They
beautiful.
all understand Yahya. And you
That's
know, when it
beautiful.
came about, I was like, guys, you know what, you're gonna hear some screaming and you're gonna hear
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
crying, but
Yeah.
he's, you know, that just understand it's in the midst of a meltdown. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's not, I'm
Yeah.
not hurting my child.
I want us to talk about meltdowns. What is a meltdown like? What causes a meltdown in Yahya's case? How do you handle that at the time?
You know, a lot of people get meltdowns and tantrums confused. They always say, "Oh, he had a tantrum," and it's
Yeah.
not a tantrum. A tantrum generally, how you sort of differentiate between the two is a tantrum. When a child throws a tantrum, they will generally stop when you give them what they
What you
are
want.
crying about or what they're
Correct.
moaning about, or if you distract them sort of and say, "Oh, here's a chocolate," or "Here's a sweetie," or "Here's a toy," you know, they'll
Mhm.
generally calm down.
Yeah.
And with a
Yeah.
tantrum, I always tell a lot of parents will say, but now how do you know it's the difference? Because it took us a while as well. We were like, is he throwing a
Right.
tantrum? And regardless of the little understanding, autistic children do tend to know which buttons to push
Right.
and how to push. So it's also for you as the parent to say, hey, you know what, you're throwing a tantrum now, you're not having a meltdown. And
Yes.
with a tantrum, they'll generally also follow you around. They want to be where you are. So
Right.
wherever you are, they'll be crying and holding on to you and crying and crying. With a meltdown, they literally shut off. A meltdown is when they become so overwhelmed with everything that is going
Mm.
on and the fact that they can't process everything that's going on. And
Sure.
obviously the easiest feeling to have is anger. I always tell everybody,
Wow.
if you're hungry, you're gonna get angry. If you're sad,
Yeah.
you get angry. If you're depressed, you get angry. You know, it's like the easiest emotion to feel. And I mean, he has meltdowns before we knew what was going on. I mean, there's
Yeah.
always that. We also were like, no, he's being naughty, and you know, put him on the naughty
Mm.
chair, or you
Mm.
know, leave him to cry. But they blind to you. I can go sit with him when he's having a meltdown. He will still
Right.
have the meltdown. I can
Yeah.
try, and
Yeah.
it's just a case of keeping yourself calm. It's like the advice that I
Correct.
always give parents is, you know, just keep yourself calm, because the more agitated you get, they're like
Right.
emotional sponges. So they sponge
Ah.
off of you and they sponge off
Correct.
of the emotion you're giving off. Not
Right.
even, I mean, Yahya, he will, if we go somewhere and he
Yeah.
feels people aren't being sort of open towards him or not, like, you know, he sort of sees what you don't portray. He sees
Right.
behind that mask. They are very emotionally connected. So
Okay.
he will have a meltdown, and it's like I normally, now what I do is I sort of have a bit of a handle on it. It will obviously change every meltdown is different. So a lot of people will say, oh, but you should know already now what's the trigger and what to do. And it's not the case. Today it might be because the sun was too bright. Tomorrow it might be because a loud bike rode past the house. You never know. It could be that I didn't understand what movie he wanted, and obviously he can't let me know. So I'm like, he'll take me to the TV because this is the way we've learned to communicate. He'll pull me to the TV, and then I'm like, okay, so you want me to change, but now I don't know what. So I'll put something on, and then he'll come running through, and meltdowns with him is it's very tiring, and it's hard because I see how much he struggles. And last year he had an hour-long meltdown, and it was just crying and pinching, and the backs of my arms are constantly bruised, the tops of my arms are constantly bruised because he presses his fingers into me, or he pinches, he grabs underneath my arms, and he's so strong, I can't even imagine. He's tiny, but to get his arm away, it's so difficult. And a lot of people say, oh, but why do you allow him to do it? And I'm like, who would ever want to be constantly bruised? And it was in the beginning, I used to wear long sleeves all the time. And, because people used to obviously look at my arms and be like, hey, something's going on there at home. And then afterwards, I just, it is what it is. And now with him, you sort of need to stay calm, and then there's brushing, and then weight. So hugging helps, or weighted blanket, or at school they have a weighted vest that they put on him. Sort of the pressure, it allows them to calm down enough so that they can process everything. And sometimes it's good, sometimes I don't get it right, and then we're sitting with an hour-long meltdown. So everything is different. It's just your child doesn't see you when they have a meltdown. They go blind.
Goodness, man. Tell me, so when we started the conversation, we were talking about the cost associated with a child with autism. From the early days of diagnosis, up until today, I'd guess, there's huge expenses. It is you still buying nappies because he's still wearing nappies. You're buying tons of Steri Stumpy milk. There's constant expenses. Look, we all would have expenses with kids, but this is extraordinary. Now, I know that Zaid runs the upholstery business. You working in the business with him as well. But lockdown happened, COVID-19 came about. You guys had to close business. That's your only source of income. How long has it been closed? I guess
that's the only source of income that we have.
That's the only source of income. What's been happening, if I may ask, what's been happening from a financial point of view since lockdown happened? Have you been able to do work at home or anything like that?
No. We're not allowed to work, obviously, because under the level 5 lockdown, it's completely not allowed. So we had to close everything. And obviously the material places are closed. So even if we open, you can't cover couches, material that you can buy to cover the couches. So it's, and everybody was saying go the route of doing the application with the debt relief fund. And what that is, you need to pay that money back. So I said to Zaid, is it feasible now to get it and then be okay now for however long the lockdown's going to last? And then after lockdown, we sort of have to rebuild because we don't have saved up capital. Yahya tapped into our savings, and it's basically that was it. So a lot of sacrifices get made, even where Zahra and Zakaria is concerned, certain things that they want to do. Like Yahya's first priority, Yahya's needs, he costs us around about 10,000 Rand a month. That's nobody else, it doesn't matter what else needs to be done. That we know needs to get paid. His milkshakes need to be bought. His chips and stuff needs to get bought. He's on meds now, so it's 15,000 Rand a month. It's his school fees that need to get paid, nappies, wet wipes. his chips or his popcorn, and his changes sort of, when we sort of went off the subject with eating. When he was younger, he used to eat like chips and whatever else. When he was about 3 or 4, it kind of regressed. And we have been trying everything. I send things into school. I try new things every day. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not for lack of trying. And that's what a lot of people think is, oh no, you're just enabling him. You're just allowing him to have these milkshakes or have these chips. But I mean, 3,000-4,000 rand a month, who would spend that amount of money willingly on milkshakes? It's not, it doesn't make sense. Well, it does make sense to me, but it doesn't seem to make sense to other people. They believe that it's like, we just want it to be this way. You know what I mean?
Tell us a little bit about the business. We are hoping that under level 4 things will ease up a bit for you guys. But what sort of work, what sort of upholstery work do you do? I'm sure people are listening to us about would love to support. So let's just create that awareness and tell them when they're ready. The business is based in North End in Port Elizabeth. When they're ready to support with work, what do you do within the business?
Well, basically, Zaid does the physical side of it. So he does all the cutting of the lounge suites. He does all the covering himself. We've got a seamstress that comes in as she's needed if there's seamstress work, because we're a small concern. So we sort of just wanting to survive. We like, this is literally our livelihood. We don't live above our means. Like, we don't have accounts. If we can't buy it cash, then we don't buy it at all. So it's not like we living a lavish lifestyle, because Yahya takes obviously a big portion of it. But Zaid does all the cutting, he does all the recovery. Now for the past couple of weeks or months, I've been helping him do deliveries because we didn't have anybody sort of that side. So the stripping side of it, I've been helping with that when Yahya is in school. But so we do the upholstery, all types of furniture. We build as well, but that's only if it's needed, or if it's something a client wants us to build. But most of it is reupholstery.
Okay, so to everybody listening on and watching us on Facebook this afternoon, if you've got any upholstery work to be done, let's create upholstery work. That couches in that lounge that wasn't covered for the last 10 years now needs to be covered when lockdown eases. And please contact Zaid and Shakira for that work to be done. But if we have friends listening to us this afternoon willing to help and contribute, you guys are open to that, I'm sure.
We are.
Okay, great. So I want to make an appeal. I want to make an appeal to all our friends listening this afternoon. If you want to do any sort of contribution, look, money is going to help in this process. If you can find a year's supply or 2 years supply of Steri Stampy, great. Or better still, if you want to provide a specific thing or item that's going to help with Yahya, I'm going to encourage you to make contact with the family. But some friends of ours, some friends of yours have started a Back a Buddy page as well, which is an effortless way in which one can contribute financially. And so I want to encourage everybody who's listening and watching us this afternoon to go to the Back a Buddy page. The address will scroll on the screen. What you can do is, if you can't find it, my suggestion is go to Back a Buddy, and you could search based on Yahya's name, and you'll quickly find it. And my appeal to everybody this afternoon is, let's make a contribution. Let's assist during this time. I think the reason why I'm saying this, Shakira, is not because of anything, but you guys have tried. You've tried everything, and you continue to do work as honest people. You run an honest business. You do it to support your family. And all the doors are shut at the moment for you to do that. So my appeal this afternoon, including myself, my family, my friends, everybody who's listening to us this afternoon, let's put in a rand or 6 or 1,000 or 2 and just ease some relief here for the Hendricks family. I think you've helped us a great deal in understanding autism this afternoon. given your set of circumstances, given Yahya's upbringing. I mean, it's been 9 years already, hey? And
Yeah.
I don't think any parent, when you are pregnant and you're about to give birth, with all the excitement that comes with birth, would you expect an autistic child or any child that is challenged in any way? This doesn't mean we don't love them any less. No, absolutely not. That even is a discussion for another day. But we then pull out all stops to make it happen for our kids, and I'm sure that's exactly what you guys are doing throughout this time, eh? Right. Any last thoughts from your side? Yeah, go ahead.
You were talking about the Backabody page, and I've been posting about Yahya's milkshakes and the struggles of autism for years. A lot of my friends know it, and they've shared. And I mean, I'm literally with this post. I mean, I made that post the Friday, and then the Saturday, the Friday evening, still a friend of ours, Suhail Ahmed, he tagged Munir Jiva in the post, and obviously I'm sure you've heard the AfriSave Cash and Carry, they've supported us, and they've said, listen, we will give Yahya a year's supply of milkshakes. And I mean, it didn't stop there. They came on board, and they helped us out with certain things. And it's like, with the biggest supplier, we've never heard anything concrete or anything like, we've been talking about it for years. And even the stock issue in PE, we've been trying to do it. And that Backabody page is literally for Yahya. We are not worried about ourselves. I've said it a million times. I'll eat 2-minute noodles and peanut butter bread for the rest of the lockdown. It's not even an issue. But Yahya does not understand. He doesn't. And it's literally where he won't drink anything. He won't drink anything else. And we have been trying, and I continue to try. We don't want to be spending such a big portion on milkshakes. So if everybody can also just open up your hearts to autism, I hope Yahya's story brings about a lot of change, because we need a lot more acceptance, and there's a lot more families that it would be amazing for bigger companies to come on board and say, listen, you know what, I'll adopt your child's special needs expenses, because it's therapies all the time, it's reassessments every 2-3 years, so I just hope it opens up doors for a lot more people.
Right. Tell me, would you mind sharing a contact number with us this afternoon? If people wanted to contact you directly, WhatsApp, would you mind that sort of contact? I know you guys are on Facebook as well, so people can find you on Facebook and make contact, inbox, and chat, and see how best we can support you and the family. But a contact number? Can you hear me? Shakira, do you want to share a contact number with us where people can reach you?
Broke up there for a bit.
Oh, I was saying, is there a contact number where people can reach you in the event that they would like to support you?
It's my cell number is 082 831 3025. I might not answer immediately. That's the only thing. I know a lot of people have been inboxing me on Facebook as well. I really don't mind, and I try and reply as much as possible. But if they can contact us on the WhatsApp number or the cell number, because I don't always check my messenger. So and I mean, I just want to first and foremost thank everybody. There's been people before even the Backabody thing came about that were putting money into our account for Yahya's nappies, for his milkshakes, for his chips. So I mean, we're really, really so grateful. Honest to everybody is going to be greatly blessed for this.
Absolutely. No, I think we all, in the sense of community, we've all got to pitch in, and we all need to bring our part. And we all need to contribute. I mean, we all know that it takes a village to raise a child, and I don't think it's entirely fair to leave Yahya up to you, because if it was another child needing to go to university or school even for that matter, and the family was having challenge, there's no difference in my mind. There's no difference to us supporting Yahya and yourself, or supporting a kid that needs to go to school. So I'm putting your number on the screen so people can make contact. There's also the Back a Buddy page. I'm going to make that address scroll past once again so people can make contact over there. They can also inbox you. And yeah, so to everybody listening to us this afternoon, come on guys, let's make this happen. Let's support this family with this beautiful young man. I'm sure there's still days ahead of us. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be okay. You guys, like Dr. Glynis said, you are the experts as parents. You know how to manage it. You know what's best for your son, and I'm sure it's all going to work out. Things might not change overnight, but let's hope for change even as he grows up. Let's not live without hope. But I believe in making the best of every day. You know, so many times. So as we come to a close, just some reason why we're having this conversation. I was diagnosed with breast cancer 3 years ago in 2017.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, having young children at that stage, well, they're still young. The challenge was, do I wait until my final breath, or do I live every day to the best of my ability? And that's the decision I've made with my family, that despite the challenges, despite the medication that I have to be on, despite the memory loss, despite the aches and pains, despite the chemotherapy and radiation, and we can sit back and complain about life, or we can just face it head on and enjoy everyday life. I mean, look at that face. Who can't love a face like that, huh? Look at that. So we make the best of everyday life. I can almost borrow him for a weekend, but I don't know how that's gonna go down. It would be a lot of fun.
I don't think it will end well for you. Yeah, he's calm now.
Yeah, but Shakira, to you and Zaid, thank you so much for opening up and sharing with us this afternoon. We really, really appreciate it. Yeah, it was fantastic chatting to you, and I sincerely hope that the community that's listening and that will listen to this still will come around and rally support. But I think we've helped to chip away on this mountain of ignorance in our community this afternoon, where autism is concerned. And a big thank you to you and your family for doing that. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Have yourself a good afternoon. Cheers, eh?
Bye.
Cheers, boy. Cheers, eh? Bye-bye. All right, everybody. So we've come to the end of another conversation this afternoon. If you are keen to support the family in any way, please make contact. I'm sure it's going to go a great deal to make life easier for them. It's going to put a smile on their faces, and it's just a sense of community in this troubled time that we find ourselves in of COVID-19. It's not easy for a lot of us. Some of us are already supporting family and friends around us at this time. But if you are capable to reach out to this particular family and make it happen for them, I want to encourage you to do that. If I missed any comments on Facebook, my sincere apologies. But I will post more information in the comment section about this, and we could take further conversations offline. Have yourselves a great Sunday afternoon further. Cheers for now.